Talk about what led you to the point of getting wrongfully convicted. So what was the day? What was the day that you got arrested?
I was leaving my mother's house, and I had my daughter's mother with me at the time, and we were driving and getting ready to go pick my daughter up from the daycare. And I noticed that a car was following me, like immediately. I'm like, it's a car following me, but it was a Cadillac. So I'm like, who is that? Bent a couple of corners. They turned with me. So I'm like, I know they following me now. So I dropped her off, told her I was going to ride around the corner to see if I can get a look at, who it was that was following me. And when I seen the guy, he had like a little brim hat on and a trench coat. I'm like, I don't know who that is. He don't even look like a street guy. So I called myself trying to make it back to her house, and the Cadillac blocked me off. And another Cadillac blocked me off from the back. Then through the front windshield, maybe several blocks down, I see a bunch of police cars coming with their lights. And then I seen the same thing in the rearview mirror. And I'm like, okay, this is the police that got me blocked off. So that was the day I got arrested.
Did you have any clue of why you might be getting pulled over?
Not at all.
Or stopped in that kind of way?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay, so what's the moment when the police approach you? Obviously, our guns drawn and stuff?
Yeah, when the uniforms finally made it there, they jumped out, guns out, banging on the windows with the guns. And I remember a lady specifically, she hit the window real hard. I thought it was going to break. And I had the car in drive, and I still had my foot on the brake, and I got police all around the car. I'm like, if this car move,
yeah.
they're going to shoot me. So I'm asking, I'm pointing down, like, can I put the car in park? Can I put the car in park? And they yell, open the door, open the door. So I put the car in park. Fortunately, it didn't shoot. They pulled me out, put me in handcuffs immediately, and I remember standing outside for several minutes before they put me in the car. And from there, you go to 1300 Beaubien. I don't know if you heard the stories about 1300 Beaubien, but yeah, they drove me down there.
When you're getting handcuffed, you're still zero clue. You can't even think for a second. Okay, so talk about Beaubien.
1300 Beaubien, which I talk about a lot in my book. It reminds you of like an old movie. You get on the inside of it and that it's been around for a long time. The bricks is dirty, inhumane, just the way that it looks. It's filthy. You can tell that they don't even clean the cells or the sinks, even where you get the water from. It's filthy. Like, you can't drink water from this. But it's designed to kind of, shake you up psychologically and break you. And they've broken many people in 1300 Beaubien.
You said inhumane, kind of.
Yeah, inhumane. It's not natural to live around that type of filth, to make you sick, So why would somebody do that? Why would somebody have you in that type of environment?
What is it exactly? Is it kind of holding?
Yes. At 1300 Beaubien, the fifth floor at that time, I don't know how they do it now, but the fifth floor was reserved for homicide holding.
Oh my God.
And the ninth floor, I believe it was the ninth floor, or I think the fifth floor was where, the fifth floor was the holding. And I think the ninth floor is where they question you at or whatever.
When you're first walking into the room where they're interrogating you, you're still clueless of why you're here. They sit you down. What's the impressions that you're getting from the detectives or people interrogating you?
Well, I'm sure it's a routine, but they always start off, they're trying to intimidate you. I was locked in a interrogation room for about 13 hours. Wasn't able to use the restroom or anything, so I'm just in there. Locked in this little bathroom of a holding type of cell. It's a desk in there and 2 chairs. And I'm in there for like 13 hours before they pulled me out and took me into a bigger office where there were 3 detectives. These 3 detectives are pretty notorious when it comes to doing the wrong thing. One of them, just one of them, for example, did time for 13 bank robberies.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Then you have another one that was eventually fired or allowed to retire, but he had like a couple of DUIs and he had a gun he wasn't supposed to have, so he had a CCW. Then he fled from the police. These are detectives. This is top brass. This is the top of the food chain. And then there's another detective that was in there. He's been sued multiple times. for things similar to what happened to me. So these are the three detectives that I'm in the room with. So out of everybody in the room, I'm like the only one in there that's not about to break the law. I'm the only one in here. I'm not supposed to be in here, but I'm in here with three criminals.
Wow. The first interrogation room, the one where you said it was immediate, like they're just after you, what are they saying to you? What's the beginning conversation?
What they always try to intimidate you, try to elicit fear, because fear is a good way to, break a person's mind and break their will. A lot of people know people that's been down to the precinct and they fold and break in there. And it's usually because fear is used in order to do that. I understood that even when you're innocent, you don't you don't make a statement to the police.
So you didn't say anything in the first room?
And not at all.
Okay.
I didn't say anything at all because, I invoke my rights. I don't waive any rights. I believe in all of the rights, my constitutional rights. I don't waive no rights.
Yes.
Ever. And that's what I did. And that brought it to an end.
When they're questioning you, what are they specifically saying as far as what they think you did?
Well, I didn't even let anything get that far.
Okay, gotcha. So how does it progress at that point? You got your lawyer?
Well, you ask for a lawyer. They supposed to let you see a lawyer, but that's not how it works. See, the way that the system is set up to work in order to protect your constitutional rights. But they never do anything the way it's supposed to go.
Right.
Never do anything the way it's supposed to go. Even when they have somebody that they supposed to have, they still don't do things the way that they supposed to do it. They never read you your rights. That's only in movies. I'm sure when you was arrested,
they didn't read me shit.
Yeah, they don't read rights. That's only in the movies. They supposed to read you your rights. That's only in the movies, though.
Isn't there like a new law, though, that they don't have to read you your rights anymore?
I know there were some changes. Even when you ask for an attorney, you have to vigorously ask for an attorney. You just ask for an attorney now. Don't shut it down. You got to say, I want an attorney. That's it. I don't,
That's what happened to me when I got locked up. On the second day, they said the detective wants to see you. I was walking to the detective, and he said, "What do you got to tell me?" I said, "I need to see my lawyer." He's like, "Get the fuck out of my face." Like, he didn't even waste time with me. But I did remember that they questioned me again about it, and I said, "I need my lawyer. I'm not talking. Like, I'm not going to say a damn word to you guys."
And technically, they wasn't even supposed to come try to even talk to you again. But when do they ever, follow their own rules?
What's the next segment of basically now you have to start talking? Now you're figuring out what's going on. What the hell's happening here?
Absolutely. So I'm at 1300 Beaubien for a few days before I was charged. They actually took me to charge me 2 days, 48 hours after I was there, and to this day I don't know what happened. But they took me over to the courthouse to charge me, and I wasn't charged. I was sent back to the jail. I don't know what that was about, but the very next day they took me after 72 hours and charged me with first-degree murder and felony firearm and a host of other charges as well that eventually got dropped.
Are you figuring all this out at the stand?
I know what they're talking about now. But I know I didn't have anything to do with it. So, but I know what they're talking about now.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, is that the first moment that you realize what they're charging for you? Is that at the stand? Like, are you at the stand when you're like they're reading you charges and now you're figuring it all out? Like, when was the first moment that they said murder charge and you're sitting there like where were you when that happened?
Well, when you get arraigned, you go in front of a judge and the judge reads the charges. So that's when you know what you're being charged with then. But you got a lawyer to come whisper in your ear. I had an attorney at the time. He came whisper in my ear, "Don't say anything, just stand mute. I'll enter your plea." So you're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to defend yourself. You're not allowed to say anything at that point. You're just being charged. And we went from there. From that point, you go to the county jail.
Well, what I'm saying is the moment that you heard you're being charged for murder.
Yeah.
Talk about that, a specific moment, because it had to have been a first moment where you heard.
When you're going through something like that, that's that heavy, you're so numb that a lot of stuff you don't even hear. So you're looking for cues because you're deaf. Your heart is beating so hard that you can't even hear out of your ears. So you're looking for cues and you're looking at facial expressions. Even when I was found guilty, I didn't hear guilty. I heard like a sound that just rippled through the courtroom, and I'm looking around at faces trying to get a feel, and I'm seeing people crying. I'm seeing like everybody just got hit with a blow. So now I know, I didn't hear it though, but I know now, what was said. So a lot of those moments are just so overwhelming that you can't hear it.
Right. And it's also like totally like like you don't even see it coming.
Right.
Like, so like how can you perceive it if you don't even see it coming? Like, did it feel like a joke when you first heard?
It felt like a dream.
When they first say that they got you on a murder charge,
it felt like a dream.
Okay.
It like literally days of walking in a dream. I'm sure you've been sleepy or woke up and it still felt like you was kind of like, it feels like that.
Are you thinking I'm going to get out of this situation? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So you're not even thinking
every court date. I'm like, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. I know I'm out of here on this court. I never thought that I would be in a trial. Did your lawyer ever ask you if you committed the crime? Absolutely. Asked me what happened.
Yeah.
I told him I didn't do it. I don't know.
Talk about the trial itself. How long did the trial take, and how did you feel about the trial from the prosecutor's end to your defense's end? Well,
the trial lasted 4 days.
Oh my God, you had no time to.
Listen, most trials don't last that long unless you got a lot of money. If you notice when you watch, on TV, rich people going through trials, their trials might be a month long. That doesn't happen in real life, especially with poor people. You might have a week trial. It might take 1 week. That's it.
The same week.
Yeah, same week. My trial started. We picked a jury on Monday. I believe we started taking testimony. It may have been Monday or Tuesday. Trial was over on Thursday. I was found guilty on a Friday.
When you're going through this proceedings, people are testifying against you?
Yes. One of the interesting things about my case, as well as other people's cases that have been wrongfully convicted, is most wrongful convictions have jailhouse informants in it. I had a jailhouse informant in my case that came to trial. Like, he confessed to me. And this is in most wrongful convictions. In fact, when we hear about cases with jailhouse informants in it, that's almost a sign that the person is innocent, because they usually use them. It's been a tactic in Detroit, especially, where they use jailhouse informants. They feed them information, they give them information, and work out secret deals for them behind the scenes. And they can come to court and say, this person told me they did this, and I'm not getting anything for it, which makes them sound more believable and credible. And the jury listening to it like, this guy's not even getting anything for this. Why would he lie? He's not even getting anything.
Right.
Then right after he testifies, he goes home. Yeah. No matter how much more time he has after that. And the jury never knows that.
Yeah.
Because
the jury's regular.
And in a lot
people.
of cases, the judge may not know it,
Well, the jury's just regular people that get picked, randomly to come to court, right? If it was 12 detectives and they were listening to this guy or the person testifying against you, they'd probably make their own kind of.
If you've seen 12 detectives on your jury, you might as well just hang it up.
I'm unbiased, though. They're unbiased.
Yeah.
But they can look at a situation like, this dude is, clearly lying or clearly doesn't know what the fuck really happened. But when they're telling you what you did, when the prosecutor's telling you what you did that day, how this person died, what is the story that they're telling?
Well, the prosecutor presented a case, and their primary witness was the jailhouse informant, because they didn't have a case.
Okay.
The other witness that they had, actually, one of the things that got me out of prison, I hired a private investigator, and I hired several private investigators, but one of the private investigators I hired went and talked to the detectives involved in the case. And the detectives involved in the case said to the private investigator, like, we didn't have anything, so we had to do what we had to do. We had to manufacture some stuff in order to, put this case on this guy. in so many words. This is what's said, and he didn't know that it was being recorded.
Oh.
So that's one of the things that I had. And in the recording, he talks about how he went and got information from person A, took that information from person A and gave it to person B, and person B came into court and testified as if they had firsthand knowledge, never saying that they got it from this detective, they got it from this person, they got it from Lord knows where. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a conspiracy.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, what was the story that the guy in jail said?
What the jailhouse informant, he wrote what I call a perfectly written statement. It had, my first and last name in it. It had victim's name in it. It had location and stuff that people would never say in a conversation. It was so perfectly written that only somebody, maybe with a law degree or experience in the legal field, would even know how to write.
Do you care to discuss what the story was of what you did that day? Or do you want to skip past that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So, yeah, that's interesting, man. So basically, you're sitting here knowing everything that's being said is a lie. People are conspiring to make sure that you're convicted. Now, the verdict. Do you feel like you had a good defense attorney? Do you feel like your defense attorney did the job?
It's crazy you asked that. The attorney that I had at the time. I thought that he was good, but he's been labeled as the worst attorney in Michigan.
I've been there, man.
Yeah, and this particular attorney, he has many wrongful convictions. Other people has gotten out that had this same attorney that was found to be innocent of doing major time.
So your defense attorney has had people that have been wrongfully convicted. So your defense attorney sucked. In so many words. I mean, let's get real.
Yeah, he's been disbarred as well, but not for that. He's been disbarred for some other things, but he probably could have been.
Do you think any political forces or any forces outside of the prison were trying to keep you in there?
I've always felt that anytime you have, corruption, especially police corruption in your case, there's a lot of people that seems to be invested in making sure that the integrity of those that's doing the wrong thing is intact. Yeah. So it's hard to get information. Why would it be hard for me to get my discovery file? It took me 13 years to get a full, and I still don't believe I got a full file. It took me 13 years to get my file.
What's a discovery file?
Discovery file has all of the information with things, it has all the witness statements. It has medical examiner reports. It has any and all things that happen before you're charged.
Wow.
All the evidence, things that help you and things that may hurt you. But what typically happen is they take out the things that can help you or give you a defense, and then they give you the rest of the file. And then you have to fight them and keep requesting until somebody accidentally give you what you're looking for, which in a lot of the cases with people that have been wrongfully convicted, that's what happened. They keep requesting the file, and they keep getting the same file for 10 years, 15 years, until somebody accidentally put a page in there that they never put in there before. And you say, so somebody knew that this information was in there all this time and purposefully kept it out, So and that's called a Brady violation. When that happens, that's called a Brady violation. I had 12 Brady violations, and the prosecutor's reason for vacating and exonerating me, 12, but they had 13 reasons on why 12 of them were Brady violations.
Even with the Biggie Tupac murder, I know that I think either Biggie or Tupac's case, that because the